Hey, guess what? I got something super special for you today, because today in the Rat Hole, we are live.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Hey, what's up, Internet? Thank you so much for bearing with us with those slight technical difficulties coming into the show here, but we are ready to roll. We are live. I am Paparazzo Dave Chapman, and I've got a very special guest for you here. I'm excited. If you are new to the Rat Hole, you may or may not realize this, but I have always been a huge supporter of the Endless Realms role-playing game. We've got lots of reviews on those products up on our site. So I had something come through my feed about a campaign setting separate from Lunar Games for that. So that's the new Bristol campaign setting. And I've got Andrew J. Lucas, the designer, with us. Let's bring him in. Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
All right, let's see if our this technically works better than it was.
Well, it's not jumping around like it was, so that's a bonus.
Excellent. So why don't we start? Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little about your history in gaming and how New Bristol came about.
Cool. So I'm Andrew J. Lucas. I've been writing in role-playing games since about the mid-'80s. I've written for a lot of the big people like White Wolf Games, FASA, DreamPod 9. I've had a few solo books, but most of my contributions have been collaborations, adding to world history, occasionally writing rules and that kind of stuff. I guess I'm best known for the Street Fighter role-playing game. I wrote a player's handbook for White Wolf. And you either love it or you hate it, but it really was my journey work. So since then, I usually bring out like 4 or 5 products a year, or contribute to products in the year. And recently I've been writing a lot of fiction, some fan films for Star Trek and Star Wars, that kind of stuff. In between, my day job, which is working in healthcare at a Ministry of Health call center. Presently everything is coronavirus, so that sucks up a lot of my time.
And a lot of your energy, I'm sure. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, thanks.
No, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about New Bristol.
New Bristol is a project that I've had on the back burner for about 13 years. It came out of an aborted project for Eden Studios, which was the City of Heroes. They had that license, and they wanted to write a source book for the city that the heroes were in for the role-playing game version of the computer game. So I was asked to write part of it, and basically a district with various factions, history, heroes, and basically a setting piece. So there were a number of writers that were doing this, and it all kind of meshed together. We all had to get licenses to play the game and play City of Heroes for a number of months, and then produce it. Ultimately, the license was taken back and the book never came out. But the germ of that project stayed with me. And eventually I decided, I wanted to make my own world. And this would be the beginning of it. New Bristol is a role-playing game setting for supers. We're using the Savage Worlds and the Endless Realms system. Simply because that's what we're comfortable with. And so basically it's our version of a dimension-hopping Gotham, New York setting, right? So if you think of comic book influences, there's Gotham, then there's Astral City, and there's the various other things that flavor what we're writing. So the book itself is going to be a standalone setting that you can use as a game master to put your heroes in, and it's going to have its own unique flavor because it does and has been jumping through dimensions for 50 years. And there will be an adventure which will lead up to this in modern day and in the past, which will draw your heroes into it. So it's campaign setting and a fully fledged adventure with tons and tons of plot hooks. And that's in a nutshell, what we're doing with it.
That's awesome. It sounds, when I saw it originally, I was like, this is so fascinating to see. Because it's, as you said, it's been jumping kind of out of dimension. It's out of sync with everything else, right? So they're kind of picking up, heroes are still aging. It's 50 years old, as you said, and picking up like new people as they pop in and out of reality, if I remember right.
And different technologies, and we've got a couple of unique races that we're going to bring into it. So we're going to be playing with a lot of conventions. The city ages, but it ages differently due to the quantum boundaries and shield that protects it as it's dimension hopping. But it also has a very unique social organization. So the history of the city is that it was taken over by a battalion of evil, the Battalion of Evil, which was ruled by or led by Dr. Faustus, a Nazi supervillain with mystical powers. And in a final confrontation in the 50s, the ultimate weapon that Dr. Faustus brought forward actually backfired and threw the city out of sync with our reality. And since then, for 50 years, it's been moving through different dimensions, which allows it to actually move to Loomis, which is the setting for Endless Realms. Perfect. Yeah. So it felt like a really nice mesh to roll through there and have the city go to Loomis, which would allow certain rule sets to be created for superpowers for lunar games to utilize, and also to cross the streams and mesh the fan bases. Personally, I'm very familiar with Savage Worlds. I have a nice little writing team, and we've been writing products for Rebel Minis. So we've got a nice little line there. I think we put out 6 books at this point. So settings and adventures, little fun things revolving around goblins. Fun little fat goblins. I know, right?
Who doesn't love goblins?
Not your typical evil goblins. These guys are fun. They have their own little societies, and they have their own little world. So, yeah, we cut our teeth on the Savage Worlds rule system with that, and now we want to expand it into my own products, and from there maybe take it a little further and see what else that I have on the back burner that I want to bring forward.
And Savage Worlds does have already has some super rules, do they not?
It does. So it has its own superpower companion, which is going to be updated. So we'll be updating our rule set so that it will match the superpower companion when that's updated. It's kind of the advantage of using a PDF is that we can update it as a living document, have it available on Drive-Thru-RPG. And for backers of the Kickstarter, we'll provide you with codes, not just for the system as it is now, but when it's updated, we'll provide you codes for that as well. So you can print it, you can download it. If it gets updated, it will also be updated. So very much a living document. If you want it in print, if you want it in print with a new Suede system as it's updated, you can do as you will.
That's amazing. There's not a lot of companies that will go that extra mile and go, nope, you're getting both of these. If you jump in now, we're making sure you're covered going forward because we know that's coming. Because they don't really know when. We just know it is.
Oh, yeah. And don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be that generous with people that aren't backers. Later on down the road, there will be distinct versions. And if you buy that version, you get that version. But exactly. For backers, definitely this is something that we want to extend.
Yeah, and I love companies that do that for their backers at the very least. Yeah, you'd never expect that for just anybody else, for sure.
No.
Before we talk about the actual Kickstarter, why don't I bring up the video you guys have for it?
Sure.
So let's take a look at your Kickstarter video, and then we can talk a little bit more about the specifics of the campaign here.
Okay.
Every superhero deserves a home, a city to protect, people who love and depend upon them. That's what you thought when you signed up for this, right? But you're about to get New Bristol, a city that wanders infinite dimensions, one that no longer exists in our time, one that has vanished from our history. The population constantly struggles to exist within the void of dimensions. In 1951, New Bristol was the site of a cataclysmic battle between the forces of Baron Faustus and the city's finest heroes. After a long battle, the heroes of New Bristol seized victory, but at a devastating cost. They sacrificed themselves and the city they swore to protect. Torn from reality, erased from history, New Bristol was completely forgotten until today. The spell that bound the city to wander the interdimensional void has weakened. Strengthened by technologies gleaned from the worlds scattered throughout time and space, the city has returned. But its people have been hardened by the cosmic perils they've endured. Now evil is rearing its ugly head, and New Bristol is in desperate need of new heroes.
There you go. So that's a fun thing. So just a reminder for everyone watching, if you have any questions, you have any comments, type those in on whatever platform you are watching this, whether that's the Rat Hole's Facebook page or YouTube channel, or friends over at geekorama.net who are co-broadcasting this on their Facebook page. Make sure you just type in, say hello, ask your questions. We can see those, and maybe we'll address them while we're talking here. So yeah, that was a great video. I love it. It sounds like so much fun, so dramatic.
And you know, Kirsty did a really beautiful job meshing some of the Endless Worlds art with some of the New Bristol art. And every time I look at that, I really smile because it kind of is in capturing the Silver Age Jack Kirby style of writing and adventuring that we want to start the adventure with, and then, you know, we'll make it a little darker, we'll make it a little grittier. There'll be some unexpected things, but it's really going to start very Silver Agey. Yeah,
it seems that, which is great. I mean, it fits the theme of it starting in the 50s there very well.
For sure. One thing about that that video, if you look at it, there's that one scene where there's the guy flying, there's the hover car, and then there's the dinosaur. In the background, there's this kind of like a Space Needle type building with like 4 launch pads. Can't really see them as launch pads. But I've just booked an artist to prepare a map for that, and that's going to be one of the feature settings in the adventure itself. What we're calling it right now is the Future Spire, at least until someone decides to rename it.
Which seems reasonable.
Yeah,
because that is one of the Kickstarter backing levels, is you can actually name a place in the setting.
Yes, exactly.
Right? We were looking at that as well here.
We've been playing with the project itself, just to make it more interesting. So the more people you get involved in it, the more insight you get, the more flavor you get, the more different direction it goes in. So some of the Kickstarter reward levels are choose your face or a location, and we'll put that into the adventure. So some of the art is still pending because I'm waiting for people to send me pictures. So at the moment, I've got 2 people that have decided to have pictures as good guys and 2 people as bad guys. So depending upon what that looks like, we'll write those characters. So if you send me a picture of Kirsty's pug, then that's going to be the bad guy or the good guy, depending upon what it is. Yeah, I know. Let's not give her ideas.
No. You got to pay for it too.
Oh, yeah. She'll probably pay for it in writing.
Yeah. It'll be in there. He'll be in there. Just randomly as she writes something else for one of the other settings, it'll just be like, and there's a pug in the corner.
And there's a pug. Yeah.
Now we're giving her ideas. This is a bad plan.
Oh.
What are some of the other levels that we got going on for this? Some of the other rewards?
Well, we've got a number of print and PDF copies, so you can choose either a system that you like, such as Savage Worlds or Endless Realms, or you can choose both of those. You can choose a location. I think we have 7 available, 1 per district, where you can name the location, or you can select a location, and we'll put it in there. So if you want to have a library, we'll put that in. If you want your house to be in there, we'll put your house in there. Or if you are a game store, say like Forbidden Planet or my buddy down at Strategies Hobbies, we can put that in there. And, you know, we'll build it into the plot. We'll build it into the story. It's not going to be just, we're going to drop the name of your store. We're going to drop the name of your store as a unique location with plot hooks and characters and NPCs that will revolve around it. So we already have 7 and 9 districts, which all have their unique flavor. For instance, we have a French Quarter, which is very much based on Montreal and some of the trips I've had out there. And that's where our magicians live. So that's got a heavy demon influence, which we have character races, which are quantum demons that follow the city. And this is where the magical conflicts of all those demons and sorcerers and all that kind of stuff live in the French Quarter. Then we have the shipyards, where we have the USS Montana, which is a battleship which was never constructed, as far as humanity knows. But when the city left, so did all the memory of the city and the USS Montana. So this will all be built into the adventure. So we all know that I believe it was the USS Iowa where Japan signed its surrender, and that's our history, that's our reality. But in fact, It was the USS Montana where Japan surrendered, and when the USS Montana left reality, all history and all memory of USS Montana came back. So the beginning of our adventure is going to be a lot of people remembering things. There will be veterans of World War II that remember, well, I didn't serve on this battleship, I served on this battleship. Why can I not find this battleship? That kind of stuff. So it'll be, you know, mysteries along that kind of stuff.
That's always a fun thing. Deborah here loves the idea of an evil pug.
Aren't they all?
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, let's be honest. No, that's great. I love it. It's just such a neat thing. And you've got a party pack, I believe, as well as multiples.
Yes. So the party pack was designed for retailers that had expressed interest in buying multiple versions. So, for instance, the party pack, you can buy 4 copies of the book, and that'll be print or PDF, your choice, and you will get 4 copies. So I believe that's $50 in Canadian. So it's a pretty good deal for what we're looking at the book.
Definitely. I'm just popping in here to see what I can spot here. Party pack, 55 Canadian.
55. Yeah. That's one of the confusions I've had with this, is that every time I go to Kickstarter, it keeps flipping my currency, and it can get a little confusing. But being Canadian, you know, that's ultimately what we wanted to charge, was in Canadian funds.
Which makes sense, and extra added bonus, so you know the Americans just get a little of an extra deal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good marketing for them.
Of course. Well, you know, that's where the majority of the sales are going to come from. Yeah.
No, that's great. And so what's kind of next for New Bristol, as far as what have you got kind of in your back pocket for it there?
For New Bristol, well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start the work. We're expecting that we'll have this kicked out by the end of Q1 of 2021. As we're doing this, we're going to be putting forward adventure sets. So there will be small one-page adventures, and then there will be larger adventures to go around with that. So what we're going to do is start building a catalog, I guess, on Drive-Thru RPG, roll out some support for it. The lucky thing is I can do a lot of the writing. My writing team can do a lot of the writing, and my daughter can do a lot of the art. So that's a little in-house, the bonus there. So we're going to be doing that. Once we start getting our roll on, once we start getting some momentum, we're going to start looking at branching out into other game systems. So New Bristol, we're already looking at converting it to the Icons Mutants and Masterminds version 3, rolling out to Paragons and Prowlers and Paragons. And I think we'll also probably hit the Fate stretch goal. And I think once we have 5 systems and we can spread it out there, then we'll start getting noticed more.
Yeah.
And then from there, we can start looking at other projects.
No, that's fun. It's just so much fun. I love this. I love superheroes are something that are really hard to do.
It is, but it's always been a love of mine. And for the last 4 years now, I've been writing comic scripts for Cornerstone Studios, and we're starting to get some momentum going there. So ultimately, I could see New Bristol rolling into that kind of thing, where we have comics and we have gaming, and this would just be one part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe those heroes start moving over into New Bristol.
Oh, dude, we've been talking about that.
Shocking that you might be talking about that.
It's interesting when you can get a symbiosis going and a lot of cross-pollinating between the things that you love, like comics and games and fiction and all that kind of stuff. And there's not a lot of money in it, but there sure is a lot of fulfillment. Yeah.
Tony, if you want to just drop a comment in there, is that echo coming from me, from Andrew, or both of us? Apparently we've got a little bit of an echo going on.
I would expect that's from me because I don't have a mic. Let me see what I can do about that.
Excellent. Well,
how's
you're
that
doing
better?
Talk a bit more.
Any good? Better?
I don't notice a difference, but we'll see if a comment comes in and there's a difference there. So we'll see if someone else says something. Nothing yet, though. It takes a little bit. Like I said, for the comments to come through, they're not quite live, but they're pretty close. It's well, a lot of
and my system's pretty slap happy. It's just Lenovo all-in-one, built-in mic and camera and stuff like that.
Apparently, it is in fact getting a bit better.
Thanks, Deborah.
Yeah, and yeah, great. So we got no echo there. So yeah, excellent. We got Megan here who's says no echo there as well. So
at first when I saw that first comment, major echo, I was thinking, oh wow, somebody wants me to put major echo into the game.
There's a thing.
I know, right?
Tony, go check out the thing. Go check out and you can name Major Echo. Do you want him to be a villain? You want him to be a hero? You can make that happen. There's the URL. Kickstarter URLs are so freaking long.
I know, right? This is the first Kickstarter, not the first one that I've run, but the first one that I've launched, and I've learned a lot from it. And what I've learned is a lot of pain. It's like there's things that you would think it would do that it doesn't really do. Like, for instance, I don't know if your listeners are aware, but this is the second time we've launched it. So the first time we launched, I was still learning, and Kirsty had given me a lot of advice. Unfortunately, the majority of her advice was to start advertising first, have some reasonable goals, and have some money up front. None of which I had, but I started preparing the Kickstarter, and then I accidentally launched it before taking any of her advice. So we did pretty well, but we didn't do as well as we expected. So what I did is I relaunched, taking her advice, having a little bit of a advertising campaign, having more reasonable goals, and also paying up front for my art, which I was able to take out of the target goal. So not needing, I think it was like 5,000 to fund, meant,
yeah,
I
more than what you needed this time.
Exactly, right. You know, when you take 800 out of your art budget because you've already paid up front, it really makes it much more reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a quick glance, looks like you're closing in quickly on the additional art stretch goal.
Yes.
You got a few more down the road, so hopefully you've got till the 26th. So you got a couple of more weeks here, or another week and a bit, I guess, to maybe hit that fate system.
It's about 3-4 days, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of time.
We've already funded, so we've started booking the writing assignments. I just commissioned the art for the Future Spire, and then the map for the city itself, which, you know, it's going to be quite well. Peter Stagg is doing the art for us, so, you know, he's worked with us before.
Nice.
The Foley artist.
That's nice. No, and that's the thing. You can get some a little bit more ridiculous stuff going with when you got superheroes that you can't get in a normal fantasy system. You're not going to get a Foley artist Major Echo. You might get a Major Echo, but probably not in, you know, high fantasy with an elf or something. So that's kind of neat. So let's take a look here, because we were running a giveaway, and for some Endless Realm stuff, we've got their starter set. Digital copies of the starter set of their newest adventure that just released, Invisible Killer, the art book, and just as a closer up, you can see the art in this is top notch. It's gorgeous. So we've got an art book for them, and the Chronicles of Loomis, which is a short story collection, and we shared that out over all of our different social medias, and we have our winner, and it is Domenico, who is at 2and2 Gaming on our Instagram page. So congratulations, Domenico. We will be in touch. We'll get your information, and we'll get that sent out over to you. Thank you, everyone who signed up and shared everything out. Hopefully, you guys are liking what you're seeing. Hopefully, some of you have had a chance to tune in today and see. Andrew, what else have you got going? What plug all the things, your comics, your games, everything.
Well, right now I've been doing some work with B Cubed Press. There's it's an anthology of fiction that's about to come out. They've been doing a lot of alternate truths, a little bit political. Nice. And there's a short story coming out in December of mine in a anthology called Space Force. So it's a little bit political in nature, but it's really some neat work in there. My story is a kind of a take on the wall in space, and a whole bunch of little science fiction references in it. But definitely look at what B Cubed is putting out. Their anthologies are brilliant. There's also a Dinosaur Protocol coming out from Outland Press. They have a role-playing game tied into it, but the anthology of short stories is going to have one of mine in there. And it's an interesting take on a future with dinosaurs, Russians, cloning tech, and of course the Albertan Badlands. So it's a fun little story. What else am I working on right now? I'm going to be working with Jonathan W. Thompson on his Kaiser's Gate Kickstarter. So I'm going to write a few adventures for that. We're going to tie it into New Bristol. He's writing for me. I'm writing for him, but I've been doing a lot of that for him. Yeah, he's also got the Robotech license at the moment. Oh. So he's got 2 new books coming out. So I'm participating in those as well.
What's his company again?
Battlefield Press.
Okay, that I don't have. I've got a lot of BattleTech Or no, I got Robotech, not the BattleTech. Never mind.
Oh, nice. Well, you should definitely look at it. It's Savage Worlds, and it is incredibly detailed. So I was giving him a hand with doing some editing on that, making some stat blocks and stuff like that. So if Rick Hunter's stats are wrong, that's probably me. But it's very interesting. I've always had a love for Robotech. I think it was really the first anime that I ever fell in love with. And I always come back to it. I've got some models somewhere in a box, collecting dust. But Max Sterling and his Valkyrie, it's one of the things that's always been in the back of my mind. Yeah, actually, if we're going down memory lane, my first short story that was ever published was in Protoculture Addicts 2 out of Montreal, and it was a Robotech story. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Other than that, I'm doing some work for Endless Realms. Mm-hmm. So I know we've had on the back burner a full campaign setting, which COVID notwithstanding, if we get to it, it'll probably be late next year, I think. But it's a huge campaign setting for Brimtide Point. So basically, it's a city, but it's also the environment around it, and tons and tons of setting hooks and stuff like that. Other than that, got a bunch of fiction I'm working on. Dinos in Alberta, of course. And of course, my day job. Yeah. And trying to encourage my daughter to do more art for RPGs and stuff like that. So
I gotta say, I hope she's watching, or at least watches this later, because her work is amazing. I've seen it through your stuff, and I've seen it through the Endless Realms, some of the previews there, and she's gorgeous, brilliant work. Yeah. Like, I'm excited.
Well, it's really improved leaps and bounds in just like the last year or so. If you look at the Unknown Killer or the Unseen Killer, that covers her. So that's very, very good. Yeah.
No, that's great. Get her. She needs a fan page. You can see all of her art.
She's 17 going on 18, and she's just spurning Facebook, which I don't know. Am I old?
Because she's 17 going 18. We're old.
Yeah, it feels that way, very much so. But
Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, whatever.
MySpace. Might as well go to GeoCities.
Yeah, exactly, right? She's got an AOL email, obviously. God, can I just edit this? No, we're live. So yes, we're all old here. Thank you. No, it's great. I really thank you so much for coming on and telling us a little bit about the campaign and New Bristol, the city, and all that.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. I hope I didn't stutter too much or ramble on.
No, definitely no rambling. Any stuttering, I'm going to attribute to just freezing of the screen.
That's kind of you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, and you can check that out. I'll bring that address up one more time, right there. So you can search that out on, pretty much. You can search it out on Kickstarter. It's good until I think I've got it here, so I can even go look. Till I'm further down on the page. Yes, so Thursday the 26th, so American Thanksgiving. You've got until basically lunchtime, 1:45 Mountain. Nice. So definitely check that out. There is also, if you've got a pen and paper and that's really long, the Kickstarter does have a really ugly and hard to do shortened version, and that'll be in our credits here in a minute, so you can take a look and scroll it down there, freeze the screen or something.
Cool.
But yeah, no, thank you very much again. So thank you everybody who's joined us today. I got a couple extra thank yous. Obviously, thank you to Lunar Games with the Endless Realms. They also did this great jersey. This is one of their covers. Thank you to Calgary Clown Society, who is letting us use their StreamYard account to send this out to all of you. Geekorama.net, who's co-broadcasting this. They've got some great comic book reviews. I'm over there. Occasionally, they'll share some of our game reviews as well. The 427s, great band from Calgary. You'll hear their music. That was at the beginning. You're going to hear it again here in a moment at the very end. We've also set up a Linktree account, so you can check all of our social media in one place. Click, 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 click. So that is Linktree, linktr.ee/TheRatHole.ca. And we're going to keep that updated as well. So whenever we have another giveaway, another live broadcast like this one, which I do have coming up in a couple of weeks, we will be announcing that very shortly. But we do have another live with another fabulous guest. But thank you very much again for everyone who joined in. Thank you again, Andrew. And until next time, good gaming and goodbye.